So I think the Romanian deadlifts were a very good choice for Tuesday. Um, I haven't felt really worked in my hamstrings in quite some time, and the amount of just work that I felt during that workout and then the DOMs I experienced afterwards definitely tells me that that's something that I've been lacking in utilizing in my deadlifts, which is really concerning given that's such a hamstring centric movement. So definitely going to keep those on the menu. That is something that I need to work on, and it definitely helped. I did get a bit of core work in with that too, just having to stabilize the weight. But ultimately, that work on the hamstrings is so vital. So that was a very good decision on my part to add those in. Touching on today's workout. Squats at 255, nothing too crazy. It's a fairly movable weight for me. Something that's interesting is that when I was working out and like doing these sets, I felt like I was sticking more at that general sticking point right past parallel than I am in the video. I mean, I am, don't get me wrong, I am still sticking a little bit, but it's nothing like I kind of felt like I was to where I felt like as I was coming back up, I was almost like stopping and then going back up. It's just my perception of it, but really it's moving fairly fluidly. So I was just kind of over analyzing going through and doing this, but so far fairly happy with how things are looking. I'm staying fairly upright in my squats. I'm really focusing on that and trying to maintain that position. I'm not like perfectly up and down, but I'm not collapsing over either. So I'm not rocking the weight around and the balls on my feet or leaning onto my toes. It is purely directly in the middle of my foot, firmly planted on the ground and using every bit of my legs and my glutes to get that weight up instead of trying to focus on the lower back. So really happy with how these have gone. I'm still thinking I'm probably going to top out around 285. I might be able to get in 290 if I'm lucky, but we'll see. It definitely feels like I'm getting close to the maximum range for my 5x5 on the squats. And then after that, it's going to be just slowly pushing the numbers up, cycle after cycle. Maybe kind of changing things up once I do hit that wall. Instead of trying to sit there in frustration, I might switch over to front squats for a little bit, just kind of play with that. Still kind of working on back squats a little bit. Maybe just kind of sprinting up, doing a max set of 5, and then switching over to doing 5 sets of 5 on like front squats or something. So just kind of play with it and see where it goes. Last set of squats. This one, fairly uneventful. Sometimes the fifth set for me is a little bit of a grinder, regardless of the weight, even if it's something that's fairly easy for me. But this one just kind of went through just fine. I really focused on making sure, again, that I was hitting that fully locked out position before going through and going to the next rep. That's still a tendency of mine if I'm not 100% paying attention and just kind of shooting through things. But I managed to take care and get that in pretty much every single set that I did today. Moving on to overhead press. I tried lowering my rest times, so going for 1 minute and 30 seconds as opposed to 2 minutes like I did in previous weeks. That did not work out as well. So I can still do them, but I don't have the strength to do it as quickly on as little rest as I have been doing other sets or other weights. So definitely still working on that. But it's just a matter of building up the strength and the endurance to do that without any difficulty. I think I should be able to do 115 just fine on Saturday. Or not Saturday, but next Tuesday. But we'll see. I'm fairly confident about it. I'm hoping that I can get at least 1 or 2 shots at 120 this month. I think I can do at least 3 sets, and then partials at the 4th and 5th for the first time I do it. And I may outdo that. I'm not sure. Definitely going to be a situation where I'm probably going to do a couple minutes of rest, maybe 3 minutes of rest in between sets, so I can definitely recover between them. It seems like overhead press is definitely one of the exercises to where it eats up so much time for me to have to recover for it because it's not a muscle group that I really hit. Whereas with squatting and deadlifting, I'm hitting my quads and my hamstrings and my glutes and my back every single workout session. So they're used to a heavier load, be able to accommodate that, but my shoulders really aren't. So it takes a little bit longer for me to recover from that. I could add more shoulder workouts, but I don't want to really lengthen my workout sessions. I'm already at like pretty much an hour every single time I work out, 3 times a week. And it's not like a lot, but in the context of like the amount of free time that I have in a day, it's a pretty good chunk of the time that I had to myself. So I could do more if I wanted to, but I still want to have time to do other things in my life. So unfortunately, just kind of, again, as I've mentioned before, just putting overhead press is one of those things that I'm just slowly chipping away on and not really focusing on for the time being. There will be a point to where I'm going to buckle down and really, really work on pressing, but now it's just not as much of a concern. This last set, I switched over into 2 minutes of rest in between the fourth set and the fifth set just because I could feel myself getting tired. Actually, I think it might have been earlier, but definitely did 2 minutes of rest between the fourth and the fifth, and definitely needed it. I almost didn't complete this. So into the fourth rep, you can see me really grinding this one out. Brought the weight down. I just kind of thought to myself, okay, get a good clean rep. Fifth rep, pushed up, couldn't get it at first, and then just pushed through. Man, that was a that was a grind. That was like a definite, RPE 10 right there to get that through. You can see the look at my face where I was just like, oh my God, that was something. Going over and doing deadlifts, so 315 for 5 sets of 5 on a trap bar. Nothing too crazy, but I do think that I am fast approaching my maximum in terms of like what I can do for 5 sets of 5 on this particular exercise, though that may just be part of my hamstrings being tired from not being used to doing RDLs to where I was having a little bit more difficulty picking the weight up today. I'm not sure. I'll have to see kind of how I feel next week, though I did note that after the 320 that I did 2 weeks ago, it was a little hairy getting that going and it felt a little bit heavy, but I don't think I'll have too much difficulty doing 325. 335 coming up in 2 weeks from now is definitely going to be a test for me, but I think I should be able to get it. If anything, it might be one of those to where it's such a maximal effort that I'm able to finish, and then I have to set that as my benchmark and then slowly push from there. Maybe I'll take deadlifts and instead of doing 15 pounds a month, I'll drop it down to 10 or 5 and just slowly build that strength up. Or I might park at 80% of the maximum and just do that until it's easier and easier and then resume pushing from there. I don't know. Haven't really hit a position to where I've truly maxed out an exercise outside of like the block pulls, but that was to such an extent that my form was breaking down. So I'll have to kind of see how I feel and what I think would be appropriate going forward with this. But for now, they're doable. It's only 315 pounds, so well within my capabilities of being able to lift and get that done with. Going into Saturday, should be a fairly good workout. Weather should be nice, so I will be riding my bike to and from work, so hopefully it'll be a little warmed up going into squats before then. So I'll be doing 260 on the squats, 165 on bench, which is a little intimidating, but I've done it once before, and I didn't have too many issues with it. And then I'll be doing some deficit deadlifts at 240 pounds. So nothing too crazy, but enough to really kind of get things working and really wanting to just kind of push the strength. I'm definitely at a phase to where I'm peaking in strength, and I want to be able to take advantage of that as much as possible. So see what happens.